You can look in my eyes and see I ain't no bitch, nigga. I ain't hiding behind no another man. I ain't hiding behind no motherfucking computer or none of that shit, nigga. If it's war, it's a war. And we just bang out, nigga. Bang out, nigga.
Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. Well, at least the treble is still on. Shameless. Now I'm joking. You know, damn well we ain't doing no treble. Arsenal fans, are we at that point of accepting the result? Even if you haven't accepted it, whatever you attribute the reasons as to why we didn't beat Manchester City in a trophy that we didn't do well in, it is what it is, innit, people? Like, on a serious note, you lot know my thoughts. I don't think we're going to do a treble and things of that ilk. I just have this funny feeling that Liverpool win the FA Cup. Reactionary, but because they're playing City, I think City might do that. I still think we got a good chance of, you know, going as far as we can in the FA Cup. We went as far as we could in the league. Obviously, we didn't get it done. You must be gracious in defeat. Congratulations to Manchester City. Everything I saw with them and their manager and everyone as a coaching staff is everything I didn't see in my team. Now, obviously, you look at Manchester City. Pep, in my opinion, showed why he's the master. We all know, like, watching the game again, now that the emotion and the lore and it's a final and what it could mean going forward, and there's still elements of that, but I think there's not really elements of that in the papers and talking points amongst us because it's not really neck and neck in the Premier League. I've let you lot know my thoughts already, people, but I don't think the league's done. I don't care about 9 points. What I care about is when it says mathematically Arsenal are champions elect, no one can finish above us. Obviously, I still believe this is going to the last day of the season. That's something I've maintained week in, week out. We could say we've got 9 points. You could shave off 6 and say they beat us and they win their game in hand. That's 6. That turns it to 3, and then there's a target on our back. What I would say before I give credit to City is Arsenal, my players, my coaching staff. You can't feel sorry for yourselves. It's happened. The world don't care that you've been 20 plus years without a Premier League title. The world don't care that, you know, you've got to the final, whether you look at it as, you know, we ain't won this trophy since 1993. So I'm yet to see that in my life. You know, I've seen us, 2 finals against City, definitely a couple of against Chelsea. Birmingham comes to mind. We didn't win in it. Now, when we removed the banner, these boys, this is your first final, apologies, in 6 years. Mikel Arteta and the players, there's a lot of reflection. I'm at the point where I'm not doubting that you have to use their pain as fuel and all of those things. You need to do that regardless. City have lost finals and they have to do that. I'm at the point of players, respectfully, I don't really want to hear about that anymore. We have struggled to get to a final. So we crossed that border in that we got to a final. But getting over the line, and again, as I'm saying with Pep and City, the players and Pep, Mikel Arteta and the players, you've got a lot to learn. I don't think there's one facet to blame. And in many ways, looking at that game, obviously, when you remove the fact that it's a cup final, and we're going to keep saying that, refusing stuff, just so I can paint a picture. When you remove the fact that it is a cup final, and, you know, if we win, what it could mean for us, for City going out in the Champions League, what it could mean for them, and you look at it, in many ways, it's what we expected. It was a chess match. People are cancelled out. I think for City, O'Reilly's the only player that had shots on target. It was a low-key affair in that regards, innit? So it was a game we're accustomed of seeing probably in the Premier League and definitely where Pep and Mikel Arteta are at. Pep showed why he's the master. City showed why they're still up there, They went out the Champions League. We've obviously lost to them. Both teams were still competing on 4 fronts, technically 3 now. You get where I'm going with it. I'd always think Pep and Mikel Arteta, focusing on our manager, your biggest strength and your weakness, because life is a contradiction like that, people, is you're an overthinker. Now, that goes for you, that goes against you. The one thing that I think Mikel Arteta won't lose sleep around is something that I don't think is the single reason as to why we didn't win, but Kepa. Kepa shouldn't have played. And I know, you know, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. That could have been Raya who made that effort. We should have went with Kepa. That was a talking point going into the week. Obviously, I think Raya is a better goalkeeper. And again, I'm not getting at Kepa because obviously you've made that mistake. Maybe could have done, you're not alone, but maybe could have done better for the second goal and all of that. But other than that, it weren't like you were shaky for 90 minutes. But I do think Raya is a better keeper than you for what we obviously expect a goalie to do, be able to catch. But we live in a day and age here where your first striker, he shouldn't have played Jalen, man. He shouldn't have played like he shouldn't have played. I'm not accepting that. We live in a day and age where your striker is your first defender, your goalkeeper is your first attacker, innit? That's why it's all playing out from the back. For Mikel Arteta, it's a learning curve because he's no idiot. He knows you have to keep the same way of playing and the same principles, but he knows Kepa is not as good with his feet as Raya. And I think there was an element of tailoring it to suit that, but it does feel like sometimes I do think with Arteta, sometimes there might be a man missing and then he will change to address one area, you will change 3 or 4. And then also I feel like you keep the same kind of things, if I'm completely honest. What I would say is when I look at that game, there's many things that, regardless of the competitions we've played in, that I think I've been talking about from last season and whether we've won, lost or drawn all season. And what I mean by that is the first thing is football's a 90-minute game, innit? Football is a 90-minute game. You start, I've become accustomed to this. You know, I can't accuse you lot of not turning up. I still don't think you've got a mentality issue owing to playing to City and all of those buzzwords. You do have an issue of getting over the line for these players and the manager. People can recognize your credentials and how good you are, but are you a winning coach? Are you a winning team? You're yet to answer that. But what I mean is by I'm accustomed to seeing that in the Premier League is like, on the Sunday, you know you're playing Manchester City. So if we go back to the Monday, I have no doubt the players, Mikel Arteta, you know, if City do this, we're going to do that. We want to do this. We want to do that. Fast forward to match day. The man start off well. Can't accuse nobody of not standing up to be counted. You've got them man penned into their own half. I do think we were the better team of the first half, probably until the tail end. And then, so I'm accustomed to that. And I label that as an indifferent kind of first half. Half time, I don't know what's said in it. Like, I don't know what's going on. Second half, we fell off a cliff. So the players, and we're not going to spare them, get away with murder. But where I feel with Mikel Arteta and being a bit more proactive and changing things, I felt that the way I felt how I felt at Anfield when obviously Szoboszlai scored that banger. In a sense that I couldn't tell you O'Reilly was obviously going to go and score. But I could tell you we're struggling. We're in our own half. And yeah, it's a cup final. You're playing City. Football's a 90-minute game. You have to be prepared to suffer in it. But I think you could see what was going on and we needed to change stuff, not to mention the timing of the changes and my players. The first goal goes in. It's a mistake. It is what it is. Keep it moving. But you can't afford for that second. You've conceded 2 goals in 4 or 5 minutes. You're one of the best defensive teams in Europe and you've been accustomed to, and again, you lot get on to me, I think we've been conceding cheap goals week in, week out. And it's mad because it's annoying and it's mad because statistically, we've got more clean sheets in the Premier League at this stage than we had last season. Julian, I'm not reading all of that. Big up yourself. Okay, I'm rattled. You can say whatever. My team could be shit. Please just make sure you're hitting the like button. But going on to this, as I said, long story short, I feel like we're seeing the same thing. So there's an ability to pivot. And I do think Mikel Arteta, for your own homework, Pep, you got to remember, you lot are overthinkers. There's many things you would have chinks in the armor, things to be wary of if you're Arteta and you're looking at City and vice versa for Pep. But you lot are brethren. I know you're not talking week in, week out, but you know each other. So there's probably an element of overthinking. And watching the game again, I do watch that and think, especially with what City did in midfield, like with you know, it was a fluid. It's like a 4-1-4-1, but you've got Bernardo here, there, and everywhere. You've got the wingers inverting and going out wide. You've got O'Reilly at left back going into midfield. You've got Nunes becoming into a back three, also overlapping as a traditional right back, and also going inside. You knew we wouldn't change our shape. You knew we was going to stay narrow and compact. And again, penetrating through central areas, 9 times out of 10 are very difficult in the Premier League because no manager is going to give you that much space. But that's been an issue, and it obviously bit us on the arse yesterday because, again, I was on I watched the game again. I don't know when it's coming out, but I've just come back from ITV where obviously ITV got the rights for the final, right? So we kind of went through the game and all of those kind of things and whatnot. Go and look at how they've stopped us playing centrally. Because Rice needs to do better anyways. I don't think he was the worst on the pitch. Zubi needs to do better. I don't think he was the worst, but didn't cover himself for any glory. They've pressed him. They press with a 4. They're sitting off Raya. They're sitting off our centre halves. And anyone that's played football, the centre backs, we've seen this before in the Premier League. Like I said, a lot of things are not surprising. Gabriel's on the ball, Saliba's on the ball. You can't go down the left. You have to go down the right. There might be a little short range pass on with a centre mid. It's going to go back to you. You're going to get frustrated and go long. We're going long and we're not winning the first and seconds. And when we do, we're not getting men around you. We knew Haaland and Gyökeres, you weren't going to have too much to scream and shout about in that game. So that's something. So if you can't get out playing short and the long thing isn't working, literally football is, forgive me if I'm wrong on this, there's a new sport. You have to go from one end typically to the other. So that shot us on the arse. Proactiveness in terms of the subs killed us. And also the players, man, because I would say for Arteta, as much as you plan and there's logical behind it and theoretical thinking, I do think you die on your sword, but it's not the way I want you to die on your sword. You stick to your principles and you kind of stick with it, innit? How the game kind of ended is how I felt against PSG last season, in that we're just doing the same things. I do think, 90% we're there in it. But that 10% will make the difference. Like I said, having different plans, putting the kitchen sink down, especially in the final. If you go and concede the third, you can see the first, but really going for it. And the players, I'm not accusing you lot of not standing up. I don't subscribe to that. The outside world, again, I don't think you man have a mentality issue, all of that kind of stuff. But until you prove the outside world wrong, they're right. And internally in your heads, I know you're feeling the same way. At the end of the day, you've got to pick up yourselves and go again. That's where it gets a bit annoying, because what did I say for me in the build-up going to the game? Form goes out the window. 9 times out of 10, it's the team that's not the bookie's favourite that go and win. Like City wasn't going into that game. Have no regrets. There's plenty of regrets. Plenty of regrets. I feel sorry. If I have to feel sorry for a certain individual, I would feel sorry for Saliba. But listen, it don't matter who was good and who was bad. Nobody lifted any silverware yesterday, did it? I said no regrets. The players, you have a bag of regrets. Like, nobody's doing anything off the cuff. Nobody's really putting the team on their shoulders. The manager, you're like the army general, and you've sent, I hate to use war as an example owing to obvious reasons, right? But they kind of deserted. And I think there is going to be regrets. Like, Semenyo had a good battle against Hincapié. I know our social media goes on, but I don't think Hincapié was bad. Obviously, I don't think he should have got a yellow, but logically speaking, he's on a yellow. You need to kind of be careful. That looked like where the angle was going to come from, innit? Could you have brought on Calafiori sooner? Nobody really believes in Martinelli. Could you have brought him on sooner? Could you have changed things? Now, again, everything that I didn't see in my team, I saw in City. I saw the collective, I saw them weather the storm, because as I said, they took whoever won, you have to take your punches. They suffered in the first half. They bobbed and weaved. They obviously went for the killer blows. The young man, Nico O'Reilly, having a good season, should be going off to the World Cup. I don't know if he's in. Actually, the Indian England squad, to be a crime if he's not. Stands up to be counted. Saka, you got to follow your runner as well, by the way, for the first goal. Put the team on his shoulders. I don't really care about the Cherky kick-up thing. I don't think it's disrespectful. And even if it is, we love that. In the same way I like Ben White kicking him. We went into this knowing we was kind of crippled. Ben White and Kai, they weren't going to play 90 minutes. It is what it is. So maybe there's something in terms of rotation, all of that for the players individually and collectively. Arteta, you ain't been here in 6 years. Obviously, as a player and as a manager to date, you haven't lost at Wembley. It's a learning curve. Obviously, I would want to win. And Pep Guardiola's obviously won more than he's lost. But you go and ask Pep. I know this because it's in the autobiographies. You learn more from your defeats. He learned more, actually, go and read his first autobiography when he's thinking it's not going to work at Barcelona. And Iniesta, who is a talented player, but known as one of the more quieter players, came in and said whatever. You look at when Pep has lost the Champions League final or certain things, you have to learn from this. Now, I keep saying learn. I'm kind of past that stage. It's the reality that you need to learn. Man need to get over the line. The world doesn't care that you haven't won a trophy in 6 years. The world doesn't care that you got a 20+ drought. Everybody wants to stick the knife in. And I do feel with a lot of Arsenal fans like myself that are in the media, people want to stab you and then ask why you're crying. I'm sure you lot have all seen the clip and all of that. And don't worry, Abby, you people that know me, you've been getting 40% of me. Now you're going to get the realness. Please make sure Tottenham don't lose in it, because me not talk too much and fuck up the bag in it. But yeah, bro, and it's all a bit of banter and fun anyways. But I am shocked to see the amount of traction that's going for. And like, Steve-O, you're not safe as well. But it is what it is. You're still in the FA Cup, try your hardest. You're still in the Premier League, try your hardest. I don't really rate our FA Cup and Champions League chances, but go and prove me wrong. It's as simple as that. Now I understand why they call you deluded. Just make sure, Justin Martin, you're smashing the like button. Whatever I said, that's deluded. But fair enough, you're either very deluded, that's why they call you that, or you're not so much. Just make sure you're hitting the like button. You've got your 5 minutes of fame. Baby moms, look, I'm famous. I got the comment. Just put your dick away. Because I know the weird thing is you lot had sticky keyboards. You probably got 2 tabs open. You got pinky. Please allow me. Like, it's a bit weird, mate. I'd stay as far as Southampton. I'm not sure. Hate to break it to you, he ain't the guy. It's over. You don't get over the line and something Just get over the Prem. Just get the Prem over the line. When we play City, do not play for the draw. And that was an annoying thing yesterday as well. It's like, man are playing a final like there's 2 legs. But this is what I mean. The good, the bad, you know, when we've lost, obviously I've been upset. When we've won, I've given praises. I've had many times when you draw, sometimes it can feel like a point gained or 2 points dropped. I feel I'm talking about, and you'll have heard me say this, I'm talking about the same things week in, week out. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. And you lot have done well to, obviously, until yesterday, to still be in all comps and still in all 3 and have a real chance of getting over the line. And obviously, giving the fans and the manager moments, but sharing it with yourselves. Because obviously, it's not the same because you ain't lost too many finals at Wembley or been to Wembley. But being at Wembley, not getting it over the line. Whenever you've gone out of the Champions League or the FA Cup, not doing what needs to be done. At some point in the last 3 years, you know, whether it's the last day of the season, like 1 year, or it became very quick, well, the title was over before it really began last year. At some point, you had to sit there with your fellow brothers, because that's what you lot are, brothers in arms, and like, yo, we never got over the line. Of course, it could have been better. It could have been worse if you had someone clutch like a Marino, if you had Timber, if you had Eze. I don't want to do that because I do feel it's always the players, for all clubs, it's always the players that are not, even Raya, it's always the players that are not involved and the players that, you know, they're seen as the Messiah. But I feel like I've seen you lot all play, and in certain circumstances, we've been there. Kepa, you made a mistake. It is what it is. I still maintain Raya should have played, but it is what it is. That's the one decision I don't think Arteta is going to lose sleep over. Definitely where the subs are concerned, needed to happen, man. Obviously, there are a lot of glasses always half empty people here. My glasses are half full. You expect it. For me, one thing that jars me is when people go, "Oh, we've only lost 4 games this season," and and bloody bleed. Yeah, that's irrelevant. That's relevant, but you lost the final. You have to sit in this stench. We're gonna have to hold it up for 2 weeks. The annoying thing is you can't just get it out sooner rather than later. Obviously, you've got the FA Cup, which again, if it goes left, there's going to be stuff there. You should be beating Southampton, but for us Arsenal fans, that still is a bit of a bogey team. Then you've got the champs, then you've got the Prem. It's down to you lot. It's down to you lot. Because I don't make any players pre-game or post-game comments wrong, but the time for talking is done. We're past that. I feel sorry for the new signings. You know, Eze robbed of an opportunity. Timber robbed of not new signing, but Timber robbed of an opportunity. Gyökeres and Zubi just signed for us. Mascara as well, just signed for us. Excited. You've tasted defeat, but this is what's going to come with it. You know, we've got many immediate things that need to be addressed and obvious question marks over Mikel Arteta. But if we're going to be a team that's competing, you can't win it all the time, bro. City have gone out of champs. They've won everything, but they've gone out of things. So you have to learn from this. And as I said, no regrets. There's too many regrets. And this is what I mean by defense wins titles. It weren't quite there. And I do think we've got a title winning defense, but we don't because we've never done that. Goals win games. Are our players' platform. Now, make no mistake, Saka's form is on the floor. You know, obviously, Kai, we're wishing on a star with that in that role. Eze and Gyökeres have kind of found their feet. Trossard, you've been probably our best attacker up until the turn of the year, like in the whole duration. Too many hot and cold duns. And I feel like I keep saying the same things. It's not that you lot are a bad team. You lot are a good team, you know. If we just want to stay being good, couple, you know, a final, quarters, semis, you know, good defensive team. You know, it's a long day if you play us. We've got enough. But you see, if you want to be a great team, obviously you need to get over the line. Obviously, whatever you think you're good at, you need to take it to other levels. And I need to be able to look at my attack. You're getting 20 plus goals. You're getting, you know, like I'm being conservative, but just general rule of thumb, my wide players, you're getting 10 goals, 10 assists or more. And obviously, if you're a sub, you're chipping in. My midfield's doing whatever. That's on the players. But also, let's have it right. They're not being platformed in attack the best. Now, I am not getting 15 mil a year. I have not competed with Pep, Carlo, all of these ones. And whether we've won, lost, or drawn, you know, you've left it. You're not getting battered anymore, you know, and all of those kind of things. I am not Mikel Arteta. But what I do know is there's nothing at this football club, the positives or the negatives, that I haven't seen last season, maybe even the season before. There's nothing new I've learned about this side. Now, something new would have been learned yesterday if you got over the line. Right, you actually got over the line. Go and prove people wrong. And most importantly, internally, go and prove yourselves right. Because you lot believe in each other. You lot see each other week in, week out more than your families. You lot are traveling all up and down with each other. You let yourselves down. You let each other down. We've got no divine right to win things. But what you do, have a right and owe it to yourselves to leave everything out there. Now, I'm not suggesting my players didn't try, but I never got the sense that you left everything out there. City, I feel they did. I think they managed the game when they weren't on top. I think they obviously got the goals. I think tactically, whatever Mikel Arteta, Pep Guardiola and his coaching stuff, it worked to a T, innit? So yeah, man, different dog, same shit. If we need to start attacking and actually trust our defense, Sunday was embarrassing. And it's annoying because it's one where I'd love to have a convo with Mikel Arteta because, you know, Arsenal fans, we don't think this team has clicked into gear. So on one hand, I praise you lot for getting to this. Obviously, it hurts to lose the final, but like you're in March, bordering in April, and you've kept things alive. You found ways to win and all of these kind of things. It's another year where I don't know how you Arsenal fans subscribe to the logic of when you see this in the first half of the season, you sit there and go, oh, we're saving ourselves for the second half of the season. I very much doubt a manager or a player goes out there and let's just randomly say October the 1st, we're not going to give it our all, or we're not going to play at our best because March, April, whatever. And at the end of the day, this is the period you crumble in. This is the period that matters. Unfortunately, you know, if for all clubs, if you review the season, you know, what's happened week in, week out makes it. But it's how you start, how you finish. That is how the story starts. It's done. That's how it's done. So it's down to these boys. So all you got to do is sit in the pain and just move on, man. Can't let desperation compromise integrity. That sounds great. Jalen, I love you. It sounds great. It's a very well put stuff. You know, the galley are going to say you're smart. There hopefully will be other finals for Raya. He was the easy decision, but not the right one. And strong decisions require character. Kepa was the right one. How was Kepa the right one? Because it can't be from a footballing point of view. Big up Kepa. You helped us get here. And it is a harsh decision, but he's old enough, ugly enough, and experienced enough to know that I need to put my personal disappointment to the side. There's no footballing reason as to why Raya went out there. The manager trusts him. You know, the world don't have to trust you. Same way if we won, like when we won the FA Cup with that back three, no one believed in you but the world. Cool. But there's no footballing reason. Can you catch and command your area better than David Raya? No. Are you better on the ball than him? No. To a degree, in hindsight, I think it don't really make a difference based on how City set up. There's no footballing reason. All of this promising stuff, a promise is a comfort to a fool. You think Mikel Arteta and all of these managers haven't promised these players, and it's the nature of the business. You think man haven't promised someone something in August, and then whatever, you need to get over the line. Since we've gone to the Emirates, we've been starved of silverware on a 20+ year drought. We ain't been to a final in 1 year. In 1 year, our first final, apologies, in 6 years. When did Kepa become more important? And what I'm not going to have is people making it about Kepa, because I do think, yeah, again, and this is where we need to be logical. There's many sides. There's many sides to the story. There's a reality where Kepa weren't terrible for 90 minutes. The moments that we've needed him, he's effed up. I do think the talking points around Kepa going into the game, obviously how it pans out, has kind of this like that's kind of taking the temperature off other reasons, other question marks on Mikel Arteta, on the players in general, of being proactive and whatnot. And whenever people say these promise things, who told you Mikel Arteta promised anyone anything? Because we're going to go for his press conference. He didn't. He said I didn't promise him. Now, if Arteta thought Kepa was the right guy, I believe in him. I've got 2 number ones. That's cool. But no one can convince me Kepa should have started. And to a degree, I don't think in hindsight's 2020, I don't think it would have made a difference, because Kepa showed bravery to dilly-dally on the ball because of the way it's set up to dilly-dally on the ball. We all remember that period. I don't think Raya makes a difference. Raya can bang it as long as he wants. It's not going to go anywhere. He can play as short as he wants. Now, cool, you could say fine margins. Raya is better at that. There might have been one opening. We might have went from one end to the other. It's dead. How was Kepa the right decision? How? And I'm only, like, Jalen's my guy, so don't think I'm attacking him. But how? It sounds good, but how? And I'm genuinely looking to understand, because I always say, I don't tell you what to think, just think. This ain't a dictatorship unless you want to slander Neymar or something like that. But how? 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 This is not the keeper. Raya made mistakes too. Every one of those players has made mistakes. The gaffer has made mistakes. Everybody's made mistakes. Everyone's made mistakes. Everyone will make mistakes again. Unfortunately, they're human beings. It happens. The biggest thing, apart from the obvious of not winning yesterday, that pisses me off is you never died on your sword. There's regrets. Obviously, there'd be regrets. But if the same thing pans out, and I look from my goalkeeper to my striker and the subs, everybody's played out of their skin. What can you say? Fair play. I just think before I praise City or look at City, which I've done in the opening bit of the stream, the very things I didn't want to talk about after the game, we're sitting there talking about them now. And the annoying thing, I would say, is the whole crashing out, the rage bait, other teams seeing their teams fuck up, and now it's a deflection thing. It's all good. Like, you've got 3 opportunities. Because if I'm harsh and I look at and if I was the coach, maybe it's tough love, but I'd look around and say, and I know why your heads would drop, but why is your head dropping? It can't have dropped. And I would be saying this to myself as well. Your heads can't have dropped. How can your heads drop? What are they saying about you that they haven't said for the years, and you've proven them right? You can't have wanted to win the final. You didn't do enough. I never saw no individual brilliance, which I see in other occasions. I never saw the manager being proactive. Nobody did enough. Today's the day to look at it from a tactical point of view. When we did the stream or the reaction yesterday, it was something else. I really think people move illogical when it comes to us. Can't believe the outrage of EFL Cup final has caused. People hate us, innit? And it is what it is. And to be fair, they can say what they want, man. Like, it deflects from their own injustices. Sometimes there's a bit too much vim. You know, every fan base has idiots, but it's only Arsenal. And as you could see with the clip with Abby, she's talking about Arsenal fans. That's great. Like, I don't want to make it political, but whether I'm a Tory, a Labour Party, Labour Party member, or Reform, yeah, do you agree with every one of those members? Like, where there's thousands and millions, you don't. So, like on the TalkSport thing, it sounds great. You can get your rage bait clips. You can deflect from the fact that you know, all that social media hysteria and your fans welcoming in the bus because and you lost 3-0 and you're fighting relegation. You can deflect on Arsenal. Misery loves company, but it sounds great. I can only be held accountable for myself. Don't tell me about Arsenal fans, because I could only be held accountable by myself. Nobody has seen me say, and I'm all for holding smoke for things that, you lot get onto me about Zuba being media yesterday. If Arsenal fans that I don't know on another side of the world or on social media, which these people do, they go find the weird and wickedest opinions. How can you bring that to me? Because I didn't say it. If you ask me my legitimate opinions, and the good thing about being content, the receipts are there. It is what it is, man. DG, it was the right call to start the backup keeper as he kept goal on every round before the final. So we've seen man dropped. So is it unfair on Mascara? There's many if we're going to start doing that. And it's not, I don't want to just make it about Kepa, bro, because there's like, Kepa's irrelevant to a degree. Obviously he's not, but you get the point. If only we had a midfielder that can pick up the ball from defense and beat man and drive. Oh wait, Lewis Skelly, but he's had 0 minutes. Great. And that's another thing. Like, even if it's not a Miles Lewis Skelly thing, it's the element of sometimes we've left players in the cold, and then you're asking for a miracle from certain man. City's game plan was spot on, my boy. They gave us nothing from our goal kicks. They knew they would retrieve the ball off the first and seconds. And even when it's knocked into Gyökeres, or even Kai when he's made the runs, they're surrounded by blue shirts. So it's thinking for Arteta, and for me, it's a thing of Pep's reminding you, yo, I'm the original villain, and it's gonna make, I guess, for the neutrals, maybe not in terms of entertainment, but in terms of the tactical aspect, it makes the Etihad game interesting. I must admit. You don't know me. I tend to go towards the kind of Spanish ethos. I do like many things with Mikel Arteta, but naturally, I'm more thinking Areola, like Arteta as well, but Areola, Pep Guardiola, what's my man from PSG? I'm disrespecting the legend, Luis Enrique. That kind of school of thought. Very interesting. Tactically, they got us that front narrow bank of 4 and no Timber Raya made it difficult. Arteta needed an alternative way out, and that's the thing. He never had one. For me, the underlying issue is a lack of cohesion, fluid attack. Arsenal has quality offensive players, and throughout the season, we have not mounted a consistent attack over successive games. True. Appreciate you, Danny. Smash the like button, as the big man said. Hayden, good evening, DG. Hope you're okay. I felt we were missing Timber Eze yesterday, big time. Now our monsters at the back are now injured. I hear it, and we're going to go into that, yeah. And the first goal, because watching it again, the first goal, we've been warned, if you go and watch that goal again, or the build-up, so I would say maybe 2-3 minutes before that ball's been in, we've been warned twice. We didn't take those 2 lessons, and the third one ended up with the ball in the back of the net, because if you remember, they sat off us a lot, but when the option was there to press, we pressed. Like, if you go and watch that game again, at some point, obviously, you could say, Kepa, take your pick. Kepa's got the ball, Saliba's got the ball, Gabriel's got the ball. We're obviously set up to play out from the back. You've got their front 4 kind of sitting. Like, kind of literally sitting. And then you've got their midfielder stood right next to Zubi and Rash. You might out the game now. So what did you see? Like we've seen many a times this season. Saka's actually dropped. There's moments, and again, it will come out in the ITV clip because we went over it, provided they keep this all in the edit. Saka's gone into a midfield position. Kai's dropped deep. Gyökeres has dropped deep. There's even a moment where Gabriel Magalhaes, like if you remember, like if you just imagine Kepa's in goal behind me, why for that? But he's behind me. The centre, I'm Kepa. The centre halves are here. The right back's there, the left back's there. If you go and look at it, we've stole a couple. We've tried to, we've pulled out our centre halves. Hincapie's tried to buy an extra yard, buy a couple yards. And Timber, Hincapie is kind of like the centre back's here. Hincapie is here, innit? So there's a bit of space if you equate this to a football pitch. And if you use Rice has kind of dropped here so that we could kind of cheat the game. It didn't work. And that's where I'm looking at the gaffer, because if these men are boxers, and I know it's normally 1v1, but if these men are boxers, you're the boxing coach. So it's not happening, raw. The jab's got us. How do we change this? And this is what I mean for Arteta. you can defo plan. Like when I watched the All or Nothing documentary at City, when ironically when they beat us the last time in 2018, when you had to do the preparation for the game plan against Arsenal, I'm not surprised how you set up sometimes, but the ability to pivot, I can't lie. Like there's been enough times where I think you should learn from this lesson, but unfortunately in life, people, old habits die hard, man. I expect this loss to galvanize the players for the final push. A fan is a fan. Is a fan. The irony is that we might meet City in the FA Cup final. I can't lie. Reactionary, but I'm not like, if we're at Wembley again, I don't know how I feel, man. Obviously, I want to be there, but I don't want to see this cup goalie thing ever again. You're a better man than me. I would have gone mental and I'd be. You lot don't see the rain games. Like, you lot don't see the other side. And let's be honest as well, I'm very conscious of certain things. Like, I don't need to go into depth here, and it's all a good sport. She's a good sport for what it's worth. Like, like it's all fun and games after, but come on, got a woman, black guy, shouting. It's looking mad. I can't really win. And I can't really win because there's certain other sides where, like, don't go too heavy. People are saying, don't go too heavy. And then people are going heavy on me. So, like, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. And me, if you put me in that, I'll always behave like I'm never going to be here again. Fuck it, let's go for it. And all of that. So, yeah, man. It is what it is. Big up DG and the DG Nation. Remember to hit the like button. Agree, Raya has been brilliant, but he has made errors. Everton keeper was brilliant against us, but cost them. We're not good enough on the day. We weren't, and that's the fundamental thing. Like, that's it. We weren't good enough. Winners win, losers explain. And they did it. Their players stood up to be counted. We need a plan B when it comes to build up. We try to play in the wrong areas too often. I get the feeling Arteta don't trust these attackers. That's why he's opted to play this way. I mean, I don't trust him either, but it's weird because he kept them here, which makes zero sense. The players are in a woeful bit of form, whether it's low blocks, deep blocks, all of that kind of jazz. Yeah, the players, our attacking players, have not done the business. They need to hold themselves account. But then at the same time, until recent, we were saying that about Eze. Quote unquote, until the turn of the year, we're saying about Gyökeres. Bit different because Martinelli, there was a point you was doing your thing as a super sub. Trossard really until the point of the year was probably doing his thing. Saka's had one season where he's been media. And again, they all have to answer in life. Everything is your fault. You need to answer that off yourself. But then if we take a step back, they're all failing. They're all failing. If they were a team, like a working team, like let's just say they're all in McDonald's, yeah, we're not job shaming, but I always think real life examples work. If all of our attackers worked in McDonald's and one's the manager, one's in, this one is fucking up the milkshake machine. This one is getting people's orders wrong. This one is doing this. This one's doing that. Clearly, they're all incompetent in this example. But then if I'm like the branch manager, I have to take responsibility. Said in the summer, you're very naive if you think Eze and Gyökeres just slot in or any attacker set up to thrive. I do think with our whole defensive ethos, with our attackers, they know if you don't work hard off the ball and press and all those things, you're not going to be in the team. With Declan Rice and Zubi, who intercepts in midfield, with the monsters we got in defense, and typically how games kind of pan out, I do think we could take the handbrake off a bit more. And it is one where I wish I could have a conversation with Mikel Arteta because it's not like we're starting from scratch. Like, we're up there for goals in Europe. We're up there for goals from open play. We're up there for chances in open play. We play one of the highest lines and face one of the lowest blocks. So there is a kind of building block. If there was one thing I would say with Mikel Arteta, bar the obvious, that I would nitpick yesterday, and I want to pick my words wisely, I think you're ruthless where you need to be, and every manager's got favourites. I think you play favourites too much. I do think there's one rule for some and another for others. I do think if Eze or Martinelli miss tap-ins, as you said, you're quick to draw them out. Kai Havertz is not like, you don't do that around Kai. Not saying it was clear cut, but goals change games. You do need to do better. To a degree, I can't really, it's not that I'm not disappointed, but I don't know, man. Maybe you lot will be able to make sense of this, but Kai missing chances that can change the game. Kepa making a mistake, Trossard or Martinelli, like Martinelli running off the ball. Trossard, you don't know what Trossard you're going to get. You lot have shown me this. So, like, how vexed can I get over this? Like I said, we're a good team. Being a great team is here. Like, it's here. It's here. That appears marginal, right? But the marginal, in reality, that 10%, like I said, 90% were there. And it's like that, right? That 10% might as well be there. Be there. So it is what it is. All you can do is use do all that, using the fuel and all of that. Me, I'm kind of past that. I want you to do that. You've got no choice but to do that. Pain drives you in life. Big up you lot, man, because we've got 70-odd thousand subscribers. We've been on some platforms. We're trying to think, and I appreciate you lot. But using that as an example, people might think I'm doing well, I'm happy, and it's not that I'm not happy. I'm therefore grateful, but I've learned more about the failures. One day we could do that. 2024 taught me more than any successes now, if that makes sense. And I'm sure you lot get the examples, people. Question: would Arsenal fans now rather be in City's position or Arsenal's? I'd say Arsenal's, man. But momentum, it's a weird one because how we might be feeling now is how the man that might be feeling when obviously we fucked up against Wolves. They obviously beat Liverpool. Momentum's changing, and momentum's a big thing. City could have been feeling sorry for themselves, gone out the champs. Yo, we've won a title. Even at our rubbish, our trophy, even at our worst, we're still the big dogs. Even Arsenal at their best, they're a good team. Like, I genuinely think they said that they're a good team. They're this and that, but gunshot for gunshot, they're out of it. Our manager's better than our manager's better than Arteta. 1v1, we trust you, man, a lot more. It is what it is. We've shown we're the big dogs, so there's momentum. I'd pick my position. Pep said it. I'd pick mine. Because although I don't really, like I said, I personally think we're going to drop points. They're going to drop points. There's a lot to be said, and we're still in more competitions than them. I don't know for their mental boost or if it's a drop for us. I don't want to be a hypocrite now, and I hope I'm right now, but I have been saying, and I have said this on the platform, Jalen, you've been there. I think I have been saying, I just have a hunch, whoever wins the League Cup, which was City, is going to lose at the Etihad. I want to win at the Etihad. I don't like setting up not to win. Of course, in game, there's certain things you have to do. How are we going to react to the Etihad? A ground we have not won that since Santi Cazorla and Coquelin. It's interesting. The 9 points thing, obviously, I'll take any lead you can get in March going into April, right? But it's not a false position. It is a bit of security, but then it's not, because 9 points can turn into 6, assuming they won. And again, games in hand, 9 times out of 10, we would assume games in hand with City, it's a formality. They're going to get those 3 points. This season, it's not really that. Are they going to kick into gear now? Which history is cruel to us and very kind to them. 9 points, I love it. But you could argue, as I just said there, it's 6. I mean, it's 3, because they win their game in hand, they beat us, that's 3 points. I think regardless of what City are doing, and for City's case, regardless of what Arsenal are doing, man are going to drop points. People are going to drop points. So it makes for an interesting spectacle, mate. Hit the like button, please, people. 50 in here, only 25 likes. One love for that, man. We can make all the excuses, but when it matters, we never stick the boot in. We always fluff it. I always get the vibe that there's always tomorrow, man, with us. Like, we never leave it all out there. We do on occasion, but yeah, man. Kepa is the least of the issue. I agree with that. DG, your match reaction stream was great. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Kepa shouldn't have played, but he also should not be scapegoated. We didn't play well as a team, and Kepa is just one. But it all depends who you ask. Man, are you already seen every fan base has the like the player FC things. Like, for me, I'd rather have a general conversation, but it's all Saka's fault. He's overrated, that he's not good. They've been waiting 5 years to say that. All of you lot that gas up Kai Havertz, what did he do yesterday? Gyökeres is rubbish, even though he's one of our better players. Now, what you get where I'm going with things. Oh, Kepa should have started. Someone like myself might sit there for argument's sake and say, yo, this is why you should have went with Raya. If Raya started, Kepa, Arteta this, bottle of this, that, and the other. Where reality is, there's an element of truth to all of it. It's all ingredients that get put into the mix drink. That's why we're hearing it. And that's why we're having these conversations, which are all too familiar, man. Good question, Jalen, man. I'll take our position, but we've got a target on our back. Me, I'm past the point of, obviously, I'll take my position with the points and whatnot, but I'm past the point of looking at league positions and whatnot, because I've seen us, there's years we've led the table for 200 odd days. There's times where we've done the chasing and been the chasers and falling up short. So I'm just looking at it as, if you don't really want this league title, you feel sorry for the feeling sorry for yourself thing's done. You had what was ever left of Sunday, that's the feeling sorry for yourself. It's happened now. Fucking get on with it. Because the world don't care, bro. I'm not blaming Kepa. I'm blaming the gaffer for not picking Raya. Kepa should have not been picked, but that don't free him from the consequences. His butterfingers cost us the first goal. For the second, yes, Saka lost aerial, but Kepa never even had his feet set. Yeah, true. But then even that, the phases of play before it's got into our box. Because again, the first half was annoying. I'm seeing them at, like, we're starting well. The man are defending well in their units. There's a couple of like when people like school ground football, there's a couple of shots that are, let me get some water, that are ricocheting and whatnot. There was a willingness to do that. But again, I've seen enough of it looking like two teams in either halves for me not to say there's not a pattern there. At the end of the day, I'm not in the training ground. I'm not Mikel Arteta. I can't tell you why that's happening, but just as a fan, like yourself, who loves the club, like, I can't deny what's in front of my eyes, innit? And it's another thing where take nothing away from City. And again, I'm bringing out all the cliches. I always say this. It's not to say we're the biggest and baddest, because we're not on that. We don't sit here and say that. Before I look at any other team, I have to look internally, because I do feel we are our worst enemies a lot of the time. So, yeah. It's the right decision because he needs to show the team they trust him. He trusts him, though. It's about getting over the line. He trusts him. He's played every other round and he'll get moments. Fuck it, like Kepa trusted you thinking Kepa thinking I trust him or getting a trophy over there. These managers are all liars, bro. It's the belly of the beast. If life was fair, we'd all have a lot less. All of these managers are lying to these players. You're gonna play all the time. You're gonna do this new contract. That every manager's a liar. We see it in the press conference. That's the beauty of the game. So I hear that, man. But again, for me, I'm not saying you're saying this, Jalen. For me, it comes like Kepa's feelings are above the club. All this kumbaya shit don't get you over the line, you know. There's romantic runs to the games. So yeah, man. So it is what it is, man. Big up Sadiq. Big up all you. DG, you watching the under-21s that Ahmed Abdullahi from Sunderland, 4 goals in 3 games. He's good, man. I can't lie. I love the youth content. I'm gonna watch the highlights, man. I checked out, man. I don't want to just want to be here with you lot. Go live life. That's why I was reluctant to criticize Saka and the rest of the attack yesterday. Tactically, we're outdone. I hear you, and you're not wrong. But then at the same time, bro, you lot play this every week. It's a final. Make it happen. I'm never gonna kill my players in it. It is what it is. But like Saka, I think your season's not gonna turn around. You're just gonna have to hold it, learn from it, and try and salvage what you can. You're still my guy. You're still my winger. If people want Madueke instead of you, Madueke, I actually think he was a bit more positive than, well, clearly than Saka. But then if I'm nitpicking, why am I trying to... We can have a laugh about it now, but why am I trying to not make people in the box? Really? Come on, man. Come on, man. Second half didn't make sense at all. We played their game and not ours. Arteta made a mistake tactically. He has this thing with Pep where he wants to get the best of him, overthinks and his decisions. I just think, you know, I don't even think it's that. I just think they're just in their own worlds, man. Bare sour grapes. Nah, you can see I put in the... Obviously, I don't think we're winning the treble, but brother, if we don't have a laugh and joke, what we doing? We were fighting the first half, then came out and flopped it. Why was Rice doing the job of 3 people? Again, you could see it in his face at the end. Do you think he'll still sign his new contract? Yeah, because no matter how critical I am of the manager, at the end of the day, you man are the ones playing, you know? You man are the ones playing. Yes, you're listening to the tactics. You man are the ones playing. You man are the ones playing. Phil, shut up. You wanker. Big up you, though, man. Big up the Twitch gang. DG, did you rewatch yesterday? If so, did you see anything differently after? If anything, I'm more critical on the gaffer, admittedly. And if I could sit the gaffer in the room, there'd be many conversations. I'll just put to seek to understand. And then I would say, gaffer, go out of the room. Players, talk to me. Like, talk to me. It's 2 different teams. And like I said, as much as I can get at the gaffer, honestly, if you really love this club and you really watch this football club, and, you know, we've all got biases. We prefer this player to that player. But if you're really looking at it, you go and tell me the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifference that we saw yesterday. Have we not seen that multiple times this season? If we get the league trophy, then I'm okay with the L. Appreciate you, man. Said smashed it on tools. Appreciate you. You reckon Arteta goes front foot, or will y'all continue to play conservative ball? He's going to keep playing how he's playing, isn't it? If I was going to see changes, like significant changes to the philosophy, and anything can happen. And you could argue at this moment in time with 7 games to go, doing in the Prem, doing something different might just give us a boost. But that's why you lot hear me say I kind of accept in attack what's going on, because I always, and again, you know what? Some of you might not have been here when I've said this, but whatever the good, the bad of, like, let's go back to June, July, right? Last season, like of last year, coming into this season. Last season is last season, right? We know what we need to improve, right? Speaking for myself, I do think a lot of football fans are a bit naive with pre-season. You know, old habits die hard, innit? It takes forever to promote good and bad habits. So, like, when you see a team that's as good defensively as ours, or what City's done, that's hours and hours on the training ground. Or when we were proper rugby, when we was just relying on Saka or Martinelli, when that's happened with United, what you're currently seeing with Spurs, that doesn't happen overnight, right? But going back to pre-season, okay? I think some fans think pre-season is a magical place where you go for 2 weeks, all the things that you want to see improve, it's like that. I don't think that's the case. And I'm only speaking for myself at this point. So you're looking for some little inklings. For the life of me, I can't remember if it was Leverkusen or Villarreal, but I remember doing streams with you lot. And the only game I thought like I saw something different that we want to see was one of those. I think we played one of those teams at the Emirates. Forgive me if I'm wrong, right? Let's fast forward into August. And I'm only speaking for myself. I'm not expecting first game in the Prem, you're completely different from last season. The man are chasing fitness, you're learning new things, all those kind of things. So I kind of give you a free pass to the 10 minutes. So from game 1 to game 10, I give you a pass. What a pass means is obviously you need to get 3 points. If you do well, you get praise. If it's indifferent, we criticize. If it goes left, you get where I'm going in it. But I kind of just want to see little improvements from the first game to the 10-game period. For me, genuinely, the season starts 10 games in. That's when the season starts, when players have got a bit of fitness, all these kind of things. So now that's where I'm starting to be very critical. This is where I'm now starting to be very critical. I'll take the results where you could, cool, around them times there. Second half against City, even though I wasn't happy with the whole 90, as you lot know. Obviously, I weren't happy with the game at Anfield with, again, in-game management, but the approach, I'm accustomed to that with the gaffer. And the Newcastle game still remains, in my opinion, in the Premier League, the game where I've been happiest, where we've reacted to mistakes, we've come from a goal down, subs off the bench have done well, we've been conservative where we've needed to be, we've put the handbrake down where we've needed to, decisions have gone against us, we've still got it done. Bar that game, I haven't seen it. But all right, cool. Now I'm starting to believe, okay, week in, week out, I need to see improvement. Now I'm at the point where I hope you're all staying with me. I'm from August now, right? Once you get into September, I'm looking at it as I still want to see these things, but I'm really just trying to get to the end of the year, whatever we're trying to achieve, which is obviously going as far as we can in all the comps, keeping the Champions, the Premier League, apologies, dream alive. Get me to the end of the year, that's still a thing. Where on one hand, yep, if I'm not seeing what I'm seeing, I'm going to talk about it, but points on the board. December, get me into end of January, February, you get me. We're still maneuvering how we need to maneuver. Of course, I'm getting very harsher now. I don't subscribe to the rhetoric of we're saving ourselves to the second half of the season, but there's an element, okay, cool. Maybe, you know, in the same way old habits die hard, it takes forever to promote good habits, maybe the penny might drop. I've seen little games, little pieces, little things where I'm like, all right, that was better. Little occasions we're shooting from outside the area. There's a bit more attacking play, but generally it's the same shit. So now we fast forward and we're now in February, March, right? Well, February, let's say March, February, March, we're in this period. Would it be fair to say with what's left of the season and the minutes played and the competing in all comps and the highs, the lows, the pros, the cons, would it be fair to say I'm wrong for kind of thinking that we're going to take the 90% of what we do well with obviously what we want to see in the attacking unit? Because as I said at the start, defense wins titles, goals win games. I think we've got a title winning defense and a title defense winning defensive ethos throughout the whole team. Of course, again, we haven't done that, so it doesn't really make sense. But if you understand ball and you know you've got the banter out your system, you understand what I'm alluding to, right? Goals win games, and yeah, and this is what I mean by the false images. I've said that since the end of the season, where Odegaard, Saka, this one, that one, they all got numbers. And I'm going to say it again, and probably next year, we know we're going to score goals. Who is going to get the goals? And again, all the statistics, more goals than Invincibles, more points. Arsenal, one of the only teams in Europe. This just reflects we're a good team. A great team is, you in a positive way, you look a shadow of your former self the year before, and you get over the line. So this is what I mean, where if anything, for me, I'm not expecting handbrake down and anything different dramatically, because it is an element of you just need to get over the line now. At best, I'm hoping for purple patches. You know, Eze looks like obviously he's injured, but Eze's now kind of found his feet. He's doing the thing. Gyökeres kind of looks more comfortable. You're kind of hoping, and listen, I'm Saka FC to the death, but like Saka was hoping yesterday, like better, and it's more of the same. You might need to come out the side now, innit? You get where I'm going. Odegaard may have controlled the game better. If there's any positives around Odegaard this season, it's been your cameos off the bench, like that Newcastle game, and actually the North London derby. But bro, these guys, they could have helped, and you want all the tools available, but we've been in moments where we've been speaking about these things, and them man have been there, innit? So I don't want to do that kind of stuff, if it makes sense. If we implode after this loss on bottle of the league, there'll be a massive meltdown in this fan base. Arteta should leave if that happens. What I will say, and this is always from a place of love, you know, and I'm speaking as someone who loves the club like a lot of you, and I'm talking directly to the players. If you lot don't win the league, of course I'm going to be vexed. But as BG said, and I'm commenting on what's been said, yeah, imploded after this loss, yeah, you man are pussies. Come out the club. Come out the club, because then what's the alternative universe that we all wanted? You won the league, and man, you won the League Cup yesterday, and man on the beach. That's our pussy old thing. Come out the club, because you can't hack it. You're all nice lads. If I had a daughter, I wouldn't mind marrying one of you. You help old ladies across the street. You muck in and get points on the board. But you get me. Now's not the time to be pussies. We've lost. It is what it is. Who's gonna let their nuts hang? Who's got the biggest bollocks in that? Who's got the biggest bollocks in that change room? Who's gonna fucking put their fucking cock on the table and say, yeah, me, I got fucking big balls. When I make mistakes, I'll stand up to be counted. When I win games, I'll stand up to be counted. Because now it's just psychological stuff now. You lot can cope, but you see what makes football football. Why we all love football. Those moments that you never knew were going to happen going into games. Now, man, I don't want to be that guy. Now man have to be grown men. Man are married. Man got gal friends. People got youths. People have been losing before in, year out. Pattern up. And anyone that's not with that, come out, bro. Don't jump in the dinger if you're not trying to get a life sentence. And that's okay. That's okay if you're not on it, you know. If you ain't got it. Because I'm saying this from a place of love. And I'm not saying the players will be harsh on themselves. I have to ask. Some of you won't do it. Some of you won't do it or can't do it. Or don't know how to do it. Which one of the three is it? Each and every one of you, I believe in all of you lot, you know. We've had one of the best squads in these 3-4 years. Obviously, you know, people have gone and whatever. But as a collective bunch and doing all these things and not getting embarrassed, of the Emirates era has probably been the best. Another opportunity to make some history. First cup in League Cup since 1993. First of my lifetime. Just a good little day out for the Emirates faithful, yeah, around the world. There's nothing that puts you in history. Nothing. And I feel sorry for Saliba. And it's not just him. I feel sorry for you, bro. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for, even though you look fucked up, I feel sorry for all of you. Because there's nothing that I can say now or haven't said all season that is harsher than how you lot have felt. The best thing you can do in life is believe in someone, you know. But you, man, don't believe in yourselves. And I'm sure I'm wrong. But man, I'm not seeing that. Man, I'm not seeing that. I've asked for you, man, to be fearless. What are they going to say if you don't win trophies like you did yesterday? Oh, you're bottling. They've been saying that for years, bro. And they're going to keep saying it. And until you prove people wrong, they're right. We all know they're chatting shit, but they're right. Some of you are not old enough, mature enough, or sensible enough to get where I'm going with this. This ain't the platform for you. So I don't care who's the best centre half, who's the best winger. You did this, you've done that, you've done whatever. Fucking mucking. Fucking mucking. It's happened now. There's certain lessons that you didn't learn yesterday that have reared themselves time and time again. And you see the thing about life, it's so beautiful, it's nasty and ugly. Life will keep replaying the same scenarios until you learn. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. I thought it was a Spartan thing. Where's the Spartans? And I think some men are Spartans, but I'm accustomed to whether we win, lose, or draw, it's the same individuals. And I don't care if there's 3-4 Spartans when you got a 20-man squad. We're only as litty as the weakest man. And we're all in this together. We share the same L's, we share the same W's. So if anyone's not with it, fuck off. If anyone wants to capitulate and woe is me and start crumbling, fuck off. Because you're only playing a game of football. You're not saving lives. You're not in war. You're not doing open heart surgery. As much as football means the world to me, so fucking what if you lose? So fucking what? Pick up the chair, man. So fucking what? Seriously, so fucking what? So fucking what? You man need to want to die honorable deaths. There's nothing wrong with failure, you know. I'm not saying failure is good. There's nothing wrong with failure. There's nothing wrong with failure in life, you know. Anyone that mocks failures and things, and I'm not even talking about Arsenal at this moment. Anyone that mocks failures never done nothing with their fucking lives, bro. People are not, certain men are not brave, and girls are not brave enough to try something, but they'll mock someone for trying something. There's nothing wrong with failure. There's everything wrong with cowardness. There's nothing wrong with fear. There's a problem when fear is staring you in your face and you're not succumbing to it. Would you rather die on your feet or live on your knees? Seems like the latter. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. And most importantly, prove your fucking selves right. Because you lot come here and echo things I agree with. You're a good team, but you ain't done nothing. We're together. We're driven by the failures. We want to win. We want to do this. We want to do that. I know people will look at it like lip service. Me, I'm at the point in season, I don't want to hear that. But go and show it to me. I never, they know the beautiful thing about football. You know the beautiful thing about football? It unites everybody. Black, white, Muslim, Christian, Spanish, American, whatever language in Africa or in Asia. It unites everyone. But you see the best thing about football? You see the most beautiful thing about this game we love, regardless of what you look like, what language you speak, the communication is with your feet. The communication is with your body language. The communication is with your effort. Do with that what you will. Only good thing about yesterday was DG's TalkSport appearance. I can't believe it's doing the rounds, you know. I genuinely, I can't believe it. I mean, it's cash money, me versus Abby in it, but like, and obviously with what's happened with both clubs and us losing the final, but yeah. But stops with Arteta. He built this team in his image. Unfortunately, it is that. It is that. Arsenal have had an 8-point lead and a 12-point lead and still not hit the finishing line. Is a 9-point lead really enough? This is why I said, my boy Matt, I'm not interested in that. You know what you need to do now. When we drop points and like what's been happening and the gap shortens, don't get excited. If you were to win the next 2-3 games on the spin and City lose the next 2-3 games on the spin, of course the fans can get giddy. You lot fucking can't afford to. Complacency is a killer. This is what I mean by what do you learn when you win? Because unpopular opinion, I'll say this from now, by God's grace, we get this Premier League. You think I'd like to think I'm harsh but fair. Do you know how harsh you have to be when you reach the pinnacle? Do you know how harsh you have to be to when you get to that Prem? Do you know that's when the real work starts? And as harsh as it is, this is why we love football like life. This is why we love football. Football don't give, as a wise man once said, this game we love football, it don't love you back, you know. There's many you see, like, let's use Arteta for an example, or even Pep Guardiola when he's, you know, we all know the big thing with him was winning the Champions League with City. They bullied up everything, but they fell short. That moment of finally getting over the line, that 30-second feeling subjectively, we use 30 seconds subjectively to be with your fans and whatever. Or when Tuchel and Thiago Silva didn't win the Champions League at PSG, and then obviously at Chelsea they did. It's those moments. It's those moments that make it all worth it. And it breaks my heart that you lot ain't got that, you know. But you lot have to want it more than me. And I know it's easy for me to say because I'm not a player. And I'll probably, listen, I'd trade places with you any day to play 30 seconds, even if we fucking lost, to play for this beautiful club. I'd give it all. And I need to know you lot feel the same way. You don't, like with your feet, I don't get that vibe. And I'm saying it from a place of love for these players, you know. Please, because you're going to, you continue like this, May is going to be how it's always been. And us fans, we'll be disappointed. We'll hold the banter. Fans will call us for more sides. Is what it is. But it's another day at the office. I'm going to support this club to the day I die, to the day the big man takes me out. Some of you, even if you leave this club and go win things, some of you will never have a chance to do whatever. But as a collective bunch, you will never look back at you. You will retire and you will look back at this time and say, yeah, we had some good times. But my biggest regret is I never won something. As I always say, what hurts more? The feeling of discipline or the feeling of regret? Use a real life example. You might want to go out every week with your friends, but you're saving up for something. So you might have to cut back on your spending, and discipline hurts. You don't want to be outside. Some of you love to buy a little, you might not want to do, you might not be able to do that, and it might hurt you. But that's the pain of discipline. And the pain of regret would be, you know, you need to save money. You know, you need to do certain things. You know, you need to revise for certain things, but you're not doing it. And then obviously you're going to hit a roadblock in it. DG, how many more wins would you say we need before you think we're in pole position? I don't know about that. You have to speak to the stats dons. I would say for me, and it has changed, bit reactionary. I've been saying, I think, for example, in the next 2 Premier League games, provided we win them, if City draw and lose, if City that's what I said. If City draw and lose, then I think we're in pole position. But I've seen too much. Kepa could have loft the ball over a rather straightforward press. Raya would have completely changed the game. Hopefully Arteta has learned his lesson. He wanted him to play in it. I think that's one regret he isn't going to have. Eze was a big miss. We missed him. We missed a midfielder that could get the ball and do things. Also, he's got a good record at Wembley. Also, the whole spring Eze stuff. Confidence is a major thing. There's many different psychological factors. At this point in the season, whether you're playing in a final, you need to grind it out. These are the things that make the difference. But as much for me, I would have loved Timber to have been there. I would have especially Timber for the build-up of the first goal when it's actually started down the left. I'd have loved Timber to have been there. Would have loved Raya. Would have loved the option of bringing on Odegaard. Would have loved Eze. Would have loved all these things. But as I would have loved, what unpopular opinion, the first name I should have said, and I've been thinking, is Mikel Merino, because you will do something for me in moments like that. You need them Bandulu kind of players. But it's always the ones that are not involved. That's the answer. And you've been there, and I've been talking about the same shit. So it's not good. Like, it sounds good, and it is factors, but it ain't really going nowhere, really. And to be fair with you, if Eze was there, you would have, and we assume, because the reality could have been different, but we can only go off what we saw in it. Like, genuinely, we can only go off what we saw. So we have to assume, for this example, Eze is there, but the same thing happens. Eze's not going to get on the ball, is it? Because you're going to lump it long. Eze's not winning first and seconds like that. He's going to press well, but our midfield is out the game. So like you saw with Saka, with this one, that one, logically, you're drawn towards the ball. That's why if you go and watch that second half, before goals went in, anyone, please, just go watch the first 50 minutes or up until minute 60 before the first goal goes in. Everybody sucked towards the ball. Logically, you have to do that. What I'd also say, Gaffer, is another game where there's gaps. In the second half, there's starting to be gaps. And I don't know. Maybe you're seeing something different. I don't know. But as a fan, I can only comment on what happened. Same way, if you kept everything the same and we won 2-0 or you made it 2-2 and we got a last-minute winner, I'd give you praise. All we could do is have diagnosis. We need more progressive players. But does Arteta, like, is he going to platform them to do that? Because a part of me was, I shouldn't be wishing on Dalman to come on in the final. I shouldn't be thinking about, he got Wanyeri for scoring for Marseille. I shouldn't be doing all that. Saka after, I've get Saka this season's a write-off. You're my boy for life, but write-off. Lewis, appreciate you, man. Such a great representation of our club on TalkSport, and we thank you, my brother. Honestly, I appreciate that, but honestly, I don't think I'm not worthy of that, bro. Like, I'm not worthy of these things. Like, man, just there being myself. I appreciate it. Like, I'm only myself. I'm always gonna challenge narratives that I don't agree with. I'm always gonna give constructive criticism where needed. I'm always going to praise my boys where needed. Of course, when you go on these platforms, because of the climate, we're in this stupid era of rage bait. I am going to defend us a bit more. Like, for a weird example, like, I can say Yokerezi, like, for example, when it weren't banging for Yokerezi. If I'm here with you, like, yo, because this is a place I love, yo, Yokerezi been shit, man. What's going on over there? What do you mean? He's pressing, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's doing the third, like, to get where I'm going. I will take the, like, you go through the comments today, there's a lot of love in the TalkSport comments, there's a lot of bullshit. You lot can say that. Because all I get in the real life is love. And I appreciate it. Do you know what I mean? And my heart bleeds, bro. Because I've seen so many in the last, I see people all the time, but in the last 24 to 48 hours, do you know how many of you Arsenal fans I've met in, like, around in London and that? And actually, like, today, I was on the train coming home. Man United fan. But, like, you know, I know, when you said Man United, my ears perked up. It's one of them Peckham Reds. Quickly, I was able to identify, you're a football purist. Like, you know, people that love their game. Like, they love their club, laugh and a joke, but they love the game. They see it different. My heart bleeds for people like that. And that's why I don't take things seriously, because I know the internet is the internet, innit? So, yeah, man. It's too safe. We play too safe. There you have it. Arteta, I hope he has pulled his players out the international games to work. I hope so as well. And to be honest with you, a couple of these players, whether it's to deal with the league campaign, there's a bit of tired legs, and to preserve themselves of what's left of their club's campaign, not just Arsenal, but everyone, and going into the World Cup, they have to pull out. And to be fair, if you're a man, bro, Saka and Rice is the one I want to hear. Like, okay, we'll get into it, but all them men are pulling out. You lot are the ones that need to come out, bro. To be fair, I am at the point with Saka, and I know injuries, all of that. I'm at the point, Saka, you can actually stay with England, you know. You might need to be out of this Arsenal situation, playing for England. It doesn't change much because you have to come back, but you might just need a goal or something. Rice, you need to pull out of that. You need to, Rice. Come on. Come on, please. I'm going to vex DG. How much are we missing Marino? You can't vex me. Marino up front, slap it, lump it long, might do a thing. Like, even if Kai was on the... Kai might look better off the... Again, you know, you don't know how I feel about imaginary scenarios, but Kai off the... Marino in that role, it might have done something for us. Kai off the bench, it might have done something for us. Marino in that role, and then Kai up front, or, you know, Kai in that role, and then Gyökeres off the bench, might have done stuff, but there's all here, there, and everywhere, innit? I don't want to be that guy talking about... I really... You lot can see where I'm going. I don't really care about this learning from stuff, innit? Because today, there's already things man need to learn from, but hopefully that's made sense. Riley, one love, my boy. We've needed a left winger since 2024. Some serious technical security is needed in midfield attack next window. It's holding us back too much. But then even that, bro, even if you slap Santi Cazorla on that pitch and this creative one and that one, the midfield is marked out the game. We've marked City's midfield with all their technical players out of the game at one point, even in the first half, but I'm more talking historical games. There's something tactically that needs to change. Of course, there might have been a bit more. A man might have got on the ball like if you had a Jorginho, but what's going to happen? You're going to get caught. Now, this is all above my pay grade. I don't know. I ain't got the answers. But Arteta needs to have the answers. And if I'm harsh, bro, these are not things I've seen this season. They're things that have been there, innit? Big up DG. Thank Lord I didn't pay £350 to go and watch that lackluster performance, but not surprised. Biggest worry from the game is that the mentality, two win wasn't there, and Sporting game is massive. But they've got to relish it, and that's a fear we all have, man. Would you rather the team of the last 3 years or the attacking football of Wenger with the defense we currently have? The attacking football of Wenger with the defense we currently have, bro. We're laughing, bro. We're still laughing. City forever. Big up yourself. Have your moment, man. Surprisingly calm. It was a bit of a downer. We couldn't win. Just bring the Prem and the FA Cup. Champs would be great. One game at a time. I don't rate our Champions League chances. I don't. If I'm honest with you, man. I don't. And that's good. I just know what it takes to win a Champions League. I think maybe with a bit of luck that I don't think we're going to get. As I always say, I think we near enough have to be perfect to win the Champions League. I've seen Chelsea win it on a Bandulu. I've seen City Bandulu their way. I've seen United 1999 and 08. I've seen Liverpool come from 3 goals down. We're not going to get them fairy tales. Our thing is we need to, defense is lit, attackers are scoring, tactics are spot on. There's no romance. No romance. Admittedly, last season, and I felt this way, I've said this to you for years. I've been on, it's my 10-year anniversary on YouTube in September, actually. Big up you lot for rocking with the kid. I said that last season, but I have to hold myself accountable, you know. I did think Real Madrid, oh, you know, PSG, but just because of what happened, I thought, yo, maybe the footballing gods have answered our prayers. Wasn't the case, man. Appreciate you, Riley, man. Is it me? But Arteta was more subdued than usual yesterday. He seemed out of ideas, clearly. Well gone for no God. When you find him, let me know. We shouldn't have to rely on the kid, bro. DG, forever the people's champ. Link up at the parade, inshallah. God willing. Appreciate you, man. If these man want a parade, go do your thing. They have to. As the season goes along in many games, at times, we've been carrying certain players. Zubamendi hiding behind the ref yesterday. Bro, we ride this Arsenal train to the last day. Arsenal for life. This is why man's been talking about midfield. You need more than one midfield. You need someone that's... And I know Norgard's there, Kai, Marino, other things, but... Bro, you need someone in Arteta's mind, whether it's right or not, we need someone that's on par either, but we could all see, like, I use the word on par subjectively, but I don't know if we had a Bruno Gomares, Zubamendi, like Bruno Gomares or Tonali, Rice, Zubamendi, they're all similar kind of levels. We need a next one. Is there any coincidence that Zubamendi's kind of falling off a cliff? The man's knackered. He's playing shit. He needs to pattern up. It's still, listen, I still fuck with Zubi, but see what I'm saying? Reality is, and even Rice needs to be afforded fresh legs on occasion, but reality is, if you're not part of the spine of the team, you should be interchangeable. It's not that we rate you any more or less. If your name is not, moving on from the final, if your name is not David Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, Jurian Timber, Declan Rice, it should all, and historically Saka, but the way you're moving, you have to get demoted, it should all be interchangeable. Unless you've made yourself someone that can't be dropped, which at a point this season, that was Trossard. I thought Arteta had improved his in-game management, but yesterday it was solely missing. Calafiori came on too late. Norgard could have come in for Zubi. I have to ask a question. Because we talk about... I have to ask. Did the players get stage fright? Gaffer, did you get stage fright? Because you ain't been there for time, and it's actually... I know you've been there as a player, and I know you weren't the coach. Well, you weren't... Yeah, you weren't the head coach, but you was part of it. You know, you've been there in cup finals with Pep Guardiola, right? But I have to ask every question. It's like when we won the FA Cup, take nothing away from it, but there was no fans there. So was the lights bright? Was you overruled by the occasion? Was it familiar but unfamiliar settings? I think every question that we've asked in this opening 50-odd minutes has to be applicable, innit? You make your own luck when you take risks and try. When you don't try, you get no luck. Every time this season when we have played to win and attacked, we got the luck we needed. Salute the players withdrawing from the internationals. At this point, just make sure you win the Premier League, Arsenal, anything else is a bonus. And even me, as much as, yeah, man, want to compete on all fronts, bro, put everything in the Premier League basket. Zubi has played almost as much as Raya. This is why I hate squad depth thing, quality, quantity. There's always going to be hierarchies, but this is why, like, for all the depth, that's just to be able to cope. There's certain things Arteta isn't going to do. Like, there's certain things he's not going to do. Indirectly, you don't... If you take Rice out, there's not another game plan where... There's a reality where we change up, like, we play someone else and we play very differently, but you don't feel confident that someone can... You've got a system where you could... If Rice or Zubi's not there, we try something else, or you don't feel someone can replicate in some way what he can. There's only some people, I believe, generally that Arteta, whether I rate them or not, or you rate them, and it's going to get a bit unpopular. There's only certain people that I think he trusts tactically, and I'm going to ignore the obvious names, the back five, etc. I think you trust Marino's intelligence and tactical nous. I think you trust Kai Havertz in that regard. I think you've begun to trust, maybe because we've got no one else, but you've begun to trust Eze in that regard, not to the same degree. System issues as usual. These players are a lot better than they're able to show and attack facts. Heard chat about quad and stuff. The Prem title this season, I'll be chuffed to bits. 20 plus years, let's get it. Put all the eggs in that, man. Times for talking done. They got to go do it, man. Appreciate you, Blackgate. Yo, the comments from Semenya and Cherky's antics probably shouldn't hurt me as much as it does, but I hope we use it to win at the Etihad. Talk your shit, Semenya. We all know you weren't cooking in Cape. It was a good battle, but you won. Talk your shit. Cherky, I love the nonsense that was going on. I expect that. I want my boys to do that. That's the least of my worries. Like, them kind of things, I think you have to remove your Arsenal cap course, you don't like it. You love the shithousery when it's for you. I expect that. I like that. I think the game's kind of gone. I want that. If I'm pissed off about anything, it's everything that we needed to do to not have the reality that we saw yesterday, innit? I work near Wembley. I literally walked past the site of our debasement. We had nothing going forward. They had both wings boxed off because they wanted us to play centrally. And we have struggled to commit through central areas all season. So would it be fair to say Pep thought, like, as much as he's a genius, it's also a bit of common sense going into the game. And Arteta had nothing in that regard. Like, that's the most convincing in a hot minute City have looked defensively. Why is that against you, Arteta? Where we've kind of been talking about our attack. I agree with you, DG. On our side, Arteta doesn't learn. Same mentality in game management, BS. DG, I rate your composure on talks. Oh, wow. Let's say, yeah. I wouldn't trip out. No way will I trust this manager to deliver after the disgrace I saw, because if he's capable of such stubbornness and incompetence, I fully expect him to bottle it. No chances for him, Arteta out. Listen, them conversations will happen right now, whether I rate the manager to high heavens or don't rate him and these players. The season's not played out, innit? I don't see any need to. It's not me. I'm not one of them fans that's gonna throw every toy out the pram or bury my hand and say it's all gonna be all right. We've only got 4 losses, this and that. Reality is, we've got the positives that we'd have as a team. We've got the evident negatives. The season has to play out anyways. We have to, even if we down tools, we have to play this season. Everyone put their big boy boxes on and fucking go and make sure we make a real meal and get over the line. You have to. It's as simple as that. Kepa standing on a ball doing nothing after he effed up. Needed a goal, man. Play musical statues. I do think, I hear it. I think that's unfair. And I actually rate Kepa for that. Because there's no passing lane on. There's no passing lane on. You saw that a couple of times. That's one thing I won't get at Kepa for. The catching, whether you should have played, I don't think that's an issue. Because I saw man dilly-dallying. The players couldn't get out. You saw a couple of times Rice basically pull into Hincapie's position, let him go up there. We're trying to go centrally. Pep and their players, they had every pattern. And that's why I'm looking at my gaffer. You're the man. Because as a fan, there's some things Arteta does in terms of tactics, players, all these things. At the time, I might be vexed or not see it. And then in time, I'm like, oh, rah. That's why he done that. The players must be the same. Pep therefore out-tacticked Arteta, which there's no shame in that. But Arteta, you out-tacticked yourself on top of Pep doing that. Folded. What did Mikel say at halftime? I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what he said, but that's where I start to get onto the players. I'm onto the players for halftime because what the hell he said. I'm onto the gaffer for, as I said, the tide turning before the goals went in, and just in totality the second half, man. Off topic, DG, but I rate your ability to keep it professional when we lose, especially when man are trolling you on TalkSport. If they, I appreciate that, but for obvious reasons, I am not afforded the luxury of not forever being aware of my surroundings, if that makes sense. Now, that's an away game. If I had my own pattern, it's like Piers Morgan. Like, let's use Piers Morgan and them man as examples. Them man talk very loose and very brazen and quite horrible to people when they're, in their own little platforms and whatnot. If they had to come to the ends or come somewhere and have, sit down and have a civilized debate, they act a bit more differently. And I also know there's a bit of play acting, bro. Like, maybe you lot don't see it, but we're in a day and age of engagement farming. People want clips, which is great, capture the emotions, the highs, the losses, everything. There's earpieces going on. There's earpieces. Things are being said. There's evident, like you're trying to badger me. Like you're trying to badger me in it. Like you're trying to, they do that thing, you'll see it. And sometimes it gets me where multiple people are asking you a question. You're replying to one before you've even got the last word out of your mouth. Next one, everybody's getting involved. This is why it's important, because naturally by nature, I'm fiery. This is why you have to just keep quiet, analyze, see what's going on. Because when people talk from emotion, and that's what people were doing yesterday, I've got you. Could have went for the downman thing, man. No, she's not going to refrain, man, but it is what it is. DJ, it's baffling that we performed in bigger and difficult games with attacking patterns such as Bayern, Atletico, Athletic, and Inter. Then we drop mentality ever since, thoughts, players, or coaches. Both. It's going to have to be with Arteta because this is, this is your team. But both. Obviously, it's the Champions League and all of that. But respectfully, it's easier to do that in the league phase where there's obviously pressure and you need to win and you need to do this and you need to do that, but it's a final. So as much as it's about tactics and when you remove emotion, that's where it was won and lost. There's a lot of psychological factors that have to go into that, bro. We had a good opening, bro. First 20, 30. But as I said, I saw that against United. I've seen that plenty of times. I've seen us be good for 60 minutes and then fuck it up like Wolves or whatnot. I've seen us have a shit 20 minutes and then pattern up. Football's a 90-minute game. It's decided in both boxes. It's played in the middle of the park. All of the cliches. Again, throughout this live stream and in general, I'm genuinely repeating the same things. Big up Ace. And I said, hold these stab weeds. Big graphic, eh? Big up yourself, SJ, man. City and West Ham away will be our 2 hardest games in a run, in both fighting, one to stay up and the other for the title. This is what they need to do. This is what they need to do. But you got it all to go. You got it all to do now, innit? If you think you can, you've got half a chance, innit? You've got half a chance. If not, it is what it is, people. So yeah, let me share my screen as well, people, because I appreciate you lot's talking points. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't. But if you haven't seen this, this is the clip that it's all fun and games. It's just football. It ain't nothing serious here. But again, I don't know if you can hear it all, but this seemed, I was shocked by the amount of traction.
Best team in the world, Lee. Come on, go up against that. No one else has done that. Best team in Europe, best team in England.
We won the Premier with the champions. I don't know.
They've got to do that against City, haven't they?
I don't know what Arsenal fans put down on me. I don't know.
I'm not putting on you. I'm saying you've got the best defence in Europe. We've got this.
We've got a very good defence. Obviously, a player switched off. But where's all this best team in Europe and best team in this and that?
Clearly, you don't talk to your own fans.
What are we talking about? I definitely talk to more fans than Arsenal fans than you. What are we talking about? Who said we're the best in the world and whatnot? Yeah, we are one of those. Who said we're the best? Come on.
How can you not rise to it if you mention it?
You've got, I don't know about quadruple. I can only speak for myself. I can only speak for myself, and I represent a lot of.
You say we're over the treble like an insult, even though I don't believe we're going to win the treble.
Again, if I may speak, and then there's a lot of illogical Spurs fans. You know, said there was a power shift in prime relegation. Let's just focus on Arsenal and not do the points for it. Anyways, I'm focused on the club.
Childish.
Because I'm speaking. Exactly. Simple as that. We lost the Manchester.
He's a soldier, isn't he?
It is what it is. I don't know who called us one of the best teams in the world and whatnot, or the best team, better yet. We just have to keep going. This is the worst we're going to get. So enjoy it now. Enjoy it. Please don't. It did sound like it did. Let's not do that point score team from a football club. No. And I don't know where this best player in the world stuff, the best team ever. Please.
I'm actually having a conversation with you.
CJ, can I ask you a question about moving?
You're emotional right now.
I'm definitely not emotional. I'm just having a conversation. I'm passionate. Let's not confuse that. Like emotional or football. CJ, you're a passionate man.
The best team in the world, Lee. Come on.
But it's cool. Because I won't show mercy. You think I haven't got the corn loaded? I hope, for Abby's sake, if I'm there, they don't get relegated. She's crying again. She's got, well, I'm here. I will never show mercy because on that platform, you've got 30-40% of what I actually am. Now it's here. Especially when your team lost 3-0. By all means, chat shit. We lost the final. It is what it is. But don't try and point score. Because 1 minute you don't talk to Arsenal fans. Then you talk to more Arsenal fans than me. It's not making sense. And you know I've got the archives. I told her this. I said this on the last stream. You know I've got the archives. I've got archives around your reaction when a penalty is gonna, when decisions have gone against us versus you. What man need to stop doing is thinking because you talk to whatever on AFTV or whatever that they stand for every Arsenal fan. And I do think that goes with a lot of football fans in general. Like, you know, a couple of twats and you think we're all like that. What you're not going to do is try and bully up my thing. What you're not going to try and do is do that agenda thing here. You got the wrong one. There's plenty of people that you can get. There's plenty of people that go onto that platform. There's plenty of soft use. It's not me. Declan Rice, I make you right with this, but I'm not trying to hear none of that. What I do want to tell you, what I do want to speak is this is interesting with Pep. He never gets trapped. He never gets tired of winning trophies. I sure as hell get tired of not winning trophies, my guy. And big up O'Reilly. Great moment for a boyhood City player and all of that. This actually wasn't even it, people. But like food for thought, innit? And he's going to be a bit complimentary. He said, today was a real challenge. Nobody gives us anything. Players, I hope you looked at that. Today we saw ourselves and our level against the best team. We were what we are. I hear it. We can be the best team and all that, but crunch time, I want to see the best team, innit? That is the proof and the challenge. That's what we're about. We don't regret the challenge. Sport is that. They're the best so far. Second off, I couldn't believe we could do that against Arsenal, but we did it. For you, Mikel Arteta, that sentence and that paragraph, hang that up on your office. You got 2 weeks to pattern that. Scrolling all the way down. And he is right in that, you know, he won this trophy before. He's obviously won it now. But for a lot of their players, a bit like, because when we look at City, yeah, they have won everything, whatever. And Arsenal, you man haven't won stuff, innit? But when you look at City's team, there's a couple man that ain't been in them scenarios. He mentioned that with Trafford, with Kosnorov, with Semenyo, with O'Reilly, and how it's their first experience. And he has said a few times, hopefully next season and the end of the season, we can do it. I don't trust Pep, because when I see you say that, it makes me think, yo, you're staying. But it makes me think, oh, it is what it is. But this is actually, I promise people, this is actually the main part in it. He said, we have we know that they obviously play Liverpool and they've got the title race with Arsenal. He said, I would like to be 9 points in front of Arsenal. This game will have no impact. It's different competitions. They'll be more concerned when they come to the Etihad. This will help us at the Etihad against Liverpool. The Premier League is in their hands. They punish us a lot. There were 2 good periods, the 3 draws with Sunderland, Brighton and Chelsea, and then this one with Forest and West Ham. If they drop points, we are going to try to win our games and we'll see what happens. And that's obviously that. Listen, you win a cup, it's going to gas you, innit? So, yeah, man. Head of triggering, bro. But I'm too smart for that. Like, if you're going to trigger me, you trigger me with real stuff. And even this whole, the British public, we need to, obviously, Karma said it and she's not British, but the British public need to remove the word rattled from their vocab, because I do it. Like, I do it. Like, when all my friends that support other clubs, they take an L or whatever, anything they say, I'm going to say, you're rattled. It's gaslighting, where a rebuttal or a difference of opinion or a conversation is that. And this is one thing that annoys me about social media. By all means, like, for example, using me on TalkSport, boy, my club. I don't have to listen, but boy, my club, get your banter in, get your chimes in. There's for all walks of life, there's a scope of that. But why have we lost the essence of talking ball? Why is it always tribal, point scoring, soundbite nonsense where it's not that? And you got to remember, for these people that you lot say you don't like and whatever, they're always going to be on these platforms because they drive these emotions. This is the period we're in life, let alone football. Football mirrors society. Remember, we always say that, people. Arteta to use painful cup defeat as fuel. Arteta, I don't make you wrong. You have to. I am tired of seeing statements like that. But it's hard because everyone as a player really wanted it today, and I know supporters wanted it. The fact that we haven't managed to deliver is very, very painful. We've had a remarkable 8 months together, and now there's an international break. We'll go into there with a very hard feeling and pain. We're going to use that as fuel for the next 2 months. We keep going. It's painful not to give them what they were hoping for and what they're cheering for, but we'll recover from that and go again. You got no choice, my boy. We are all feeling extremely sad, especially with the way the game went. In the first half, I think we were the better team, had the best 2 chances, and certainly the best chance of the game to capitalize and get momentum you need in the final. Now, if I'm keeping 100% on this, Arteta, if Eze missed that or if Martinelli missed that, you would have said their names. It's Kai, you didn't. And if I'm honest with you, we didn't create nothing in it, but there was it felt like there was a 2-3 kind of tennis rally where Trafford made a couple saves in quick succession. Me personally, I rate Calafiori in the final third the most in that final, because you've had that shot that skimmed wide. Obviously, you've had that effort that skimmed wide, and I'm sure you had a header that hit the bar. Couldn't tell you for the life of me off the top of my head when Calafiori came on, but you get where I'm going. So Arteta, maybe I'm reading too much into that, but I think that's a bit of playing favourites, people. And certainly the best chance of the game to capitalize and get the momentum. Goals change games. Didn't do that. In the second half, we started to have certain issues to get out of that block, but credit to them as well, how composed they were in certain moments. And us with the ball, we have to do much better than we've done. Without them having any shots, the first one, it's a very unusual goal that we've conceded. And the second shot they've had all game. But this is what I mean, Gaffer. When we went out to PSG, when we lost yesterday, possession stats, all of these things will show a close game. Our eyes showed us that, but we're never on the right side of defined margins. Where there's too much rationale in how we approach games. There needs to be that 5 and 10% of randomness. No one could have seen Thierry Henry's volley against Man United or like any great moment like that. It's too logical. Your biggest strength and your biggest weakness, and life is a contradiction, is that you're an overthinker. It's a learning curve for you as a manager, let alone at Arsenal. I'm only interested in what you do at this football club. I've got no doubt that you're going to take what you're good at and make it great. And obviously, you're going to learn from these things and you're going to have a fantastic coaching career. I'm only interested in what you do at my football club because I don't want to be that guy. You show me you can compete with the best of them in Europe, whether you win, lose, or draw. I know we ain't won stuff, but you've competed against all of them good coaches. We've not got over the line, and I don't care about being in the race, but you've got us into these conversations that we haven't consistently been in the Emirates era. You've got us to a quarters and a semis, and right now, we're in the quarterfinals of the champs. You know, I do rate a couple of our players individually, Saliba and Gabriel individually, and as a pair, David Raya, Juri and Timber. The list kind of goes on. So with all of this, I think it's more than fair for fans to think, yo, can you get over the line? And I know it's a bit of mind games, but a lot of managers within the game come out and say Arsenal is one of the best teams in Europe or the best team. The best team for me or the best team in the league, which that's great. And I will have that. But there's also a rhetoric in the best team wins the Premier League. The best team has the Champions League. The best team in crunch time gets over moments. A team is a reflection of the manager. I'm not trying to be disingenuous, but Gaffer, in crunch time moments, do you fold? Do you not know what to do? Are they not looking at you like, well, God, what's going on? I have no doubt we're all pulling in the same direction and we want it. But there's a lot of what you just said there, which obviously I know you played in the cup final, but there's a lot of what you just said there for me that if I didn't know we played in the cup final and we just put those sentences on a board, I think could apply to several games. So yeah, and we know it was a low-key affair, but at the end of the day, the statistics that matter are what they done. Kept balls out the back of their net, scored the 2 goals, scored with whatever chances were on for them. Whether they had one shot on target, they put the ball in the back of the net. Goals change games. And if I'm brutally honest, part of me when we went a goal down was thinking, yo, we're still in this. Yo, man, part of me thought you lot crumbled. Definitely when the second went on, the less of that, the better. You can have momentum, but if nothing happens, that momentum will shift at some point, and it was probably in the worst moment when that happened, and that's it. You have to take it. Sometimes you have to accept that the opposition was good in that moment. They capitalized. That's what you have to do if you want to win titles. Facts. Rice, whatever you said, bro. Rice, man, you weren't the best yesterday. Man, I feel sorry for a couple men, bro. I feel sorry for all of you. It is what it is. It's very, very disappointing. Very tough. It's a final you didn't want to lose, but ultimately today we've given them the 2 chances. We've got to look at ourselves. It could have been a different game if we scored that one in the first half. Goals change games. Goals change momentum. There you have it. There you have it. And if we're reading between the lines, kind of what the gaffer said. Football's decided in both ends. And to be fair, I can't be vexed at Kepa, bro. I don't really believe in your thing like that. Like, that is on brand with what you do. Kai missing 1v1s. I can't really, I trust everybody in life to be what they are, if that makes sense, respectfully. There was a lot of positives in the first half, but look, we keep going. A lot of positives to still look forward for the end of the season. And it was just our 4th defeat so far from 50 games. That's great, but any of the 4 losses, if we could trade any of the 4 losses we've had this season, definitely Man United. Man would have traded. Well, you get where I'm going. Man would have traded, like, swapping the defeats. Man would have traded one of these wins to win yesterday. So it is great. And it does, listen, for balanced fans, there is food for thought. There is perspective. But I do think there's a lot of imbalance, man. There's a lot of imbalance. There's some fans that are going to, there's done again, fuck up everything, burn everything to the ground. And there's some fans that are going to over leverage the point of that it is 4 defeats. Football is about, like life, sport is about sink or swim. When you've got moments like that, go and grab that. Some of you might not be here next season. God forbid, we might not win a damn trophy, and you might next season. I am not suggesting we're next season FC. Some of you might not be here. It is what it is. And slightly, bro, even bringing on Gabriel Jesus in a final after we used him for time. Not that there was anything. Hands were kind of tied, but yeah, definitely it makes it. But look, it's a final at Wembley. You never want to lose. I know how much it meant to the Arsenal fans today. You could sense that. But still, we have 3 big competitions to play in. We need to stay positive, stick together, and keep going because there's a lot to play for. Listen, you ring us the Prem, it's calm, innit? Top of the Premier League, I don't look at the league table. Still in the FA Cup, the Champions League. We could have been better today on the day, but that's football. It feels like we're always saying that. But there's still so much to look forward to over the next 2 months. So we keep going, keep fighting for the badge, for the fans, and there's still so much to play for. I saw the fans today, how much it meant before the game, singing for us. I was proud to be an Arsenal player. You could see how much it meant to them to be in the crowd today, to come out and support in their numbers across the city, to come out here today. Obviously, we're gutted that we let them down because they deserve something. They've been with us home and away all season. They never give up. They're always with us. Arteta, Rice, I'm not trying to be disingenuous, but can you, as a collective bunch of players, and it's easy because we're not playing, what you've said there, can you say you lot adhere to that as much as us? And I don't want to be that guy. And maybe there's been interviews, but I have always, and I'm not one of them take the captain's ban off Odegaard and do all of that stuff. But I do feel there's certain individuals that need to talk, bro. I feel there's certain individuals, and I feel not historically since you've been captain Odegaard, not that you're relevant, just I'm going up, starting waffling now. When it goes great, I see you in front of the camera. When it's left, I don't hear you. And I'm mentioning that to mention this. Bakayo, Nobody loves him more than me. No one will make excuses for him more than me, even though we know what the form is. Why have I, and again, I'll stand corrected. Why am I not hearing from you? I understand you're frustrated. For me, it's easy to wheel out Declan Rice. It's easy. It's easy because he will front. I'm not saying no one else ain't fronting up to the music. He will front up to the music. He will talk his thing. Where are you? It's not going to help me because really and truly, I don't really care what anyone's got to say now. Like, you might just get back on it. But this is how I feel. I'm just genuinely just been saying how I feel in these 90 minutes, innit? So, yeah. But hopefully there's a couple competitions that we're able to do well, and doing well is just winning, bro, at this moment. And 4 Gunners have withdrawn from international duty. William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Leandro Trossard, and Jurien Timber have all withdrawn people. Nice to see our 2 centre-backs are thinking not there. Ben White's been called up for England, people. You know, big him up, got some form. I think you did all right yesterday, even though we didn't win. Eze's obviously ruled out. So, again, Arteta, there's decisions, bro, because Marino's, such is life. Marino's injured, Kai's half fit. Eze, I don't know how this is going to look. In terms of that 10 role, maybe you go with a flat midfield. Maybe you're looking to put Saka in that role, even though Saka's not been anything to scream shout about. William Saliba, I feel fucking sorry for you in particular if I had to pick one. So, yeah, man. Oh, there's more Mikel Arteta thoughts. We know you're sad. I don't want to hear that. On the choice of keeper, I understand that, but I have to do what I feel is right, which is honest and which is fair. If life was fair, we'd all have a lot less. And I think we have an understanding goalkeeper in Kepa. He's played all the games in this competition, fair play. And I think it would have been very unfair for him, for the team to do something different. Cool, but what would have been fair is if Raya doesn't make that mistake. Not that Raya hasn't made mistakes. There were moments in the game in the first half. I think we had some really good moments. I think we're the better team. We had the biggest chance of the game by far. But that's what makes a good team a great team. That's what makes good players great players. Your ability to take half chances or capitalize on your opponent switching off. This is what I'm saying. Remember at the beginning, from going from a good team, which we are, to a great team, getting over the line and doing this, the illusion of perfection must be chased. Anywho, though, by far, we should have been 1-0 up. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. In fact, you used the 2 words. Should have been 1 up, and that would have changed the game on the course. And there's also been times where we've won games in the Premier League and maybe en route to stuff where we've benefited from that, where teams haven't taken their opportunity. So it don't fill me with any pride really in that regards. And again, we're never on the right side of the fine margins. In the second half, we had, especially in the first 18 to 20 minutes, some issues to get out from that block, to press them better, and especially to manage the ball when we regained it much better than we did. Then we conceded the ball in a really unexpected manner. Obviously, and 3 minutes later, they scored another one. And this is where I'm getting at the manager, but I'm more moving it on psychologically, players. They say you're most vulnerable when you've just scored. Maybe you're most vulnerable when you've just conceded. You've conceded 2 goals in 4, 5, 6 minutes. What are you lot on? Only you lot can tell me. It's gone now. Learn from it. But as I keep saying, the things that we were good at, the things that went left, they've been there all season. It's the same. It's almost the same. You're seeing the same movie on repeat. When we did it, when we conceded the ball in a really unexpected manner, obviously, and 3 minutes later, they scored another one in a similar conditions to that. That's something you have to give credit to the opposition as well. When they're so good in these periods and they capitalize on that, we had our periods, we didn't. And then we have to accept that. On if you had promised Kepa minutes, no, I can never promise a player to play a certain competition, because at the end, they have to earn it and they have to do enough like any other position to do that. We are guided by what we've seen and what he's done in the competition, and he helped us all the way through here. I believe it's the best thing to do, and that's it. Errors are part of football, and today it happened, unfortunately, in a crucial moment. Well, especially to have some perspective on it, and what this team has done in the last 8 months has been incredible. We're going to use this disappointment and this fire in the belly to have the most amazing 2 months that we have ever together, and that's on us. We'll manage that energy in the right way. Now we have to go through that pain and disappointment. It's normal. It's part of football. And if there are things, if there's learnings to take from the game, for sure, who can't hear must feel, man. For sure, and there'll be a lot of aspects that we'll discuss. There will be a lot of aspects that we need to discuss. I think we have to reflect on that, bring the temperature down a little bit, and we discuss that. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. With logic, and I'm only speaking for logical reasoning, not emotional, the temperature needs to be fucking hot. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. So, yeah, and he's mentioned the second half, first 2025. He's mentioned the 50 games. Eze's out of the international duty. He'll have another scan, and it's his calf. Big up Manchester City for what they did. On if his players didn't turn up. I don't think that's the case in the first half. In the first 20 minutes of the second half, we weren't at our best. So that's him telling you where we're at, isn't it? find moments and managing periods of games. On the best of days, you have to do this in the Premier League, much less in the final. If nothing changes, nothing changes. The good, the bad, and the ugly, unfortunately, was on display yesterday, as it's been all season. I wouldn't make it on the mentality. I wouldn't make it to the mentality part of that, especially when you lose or draw again to go through that. I think it's too easy. That's my opinion. As I've said before in the first half, there was some very, very good moments, and we didn't capitalize on them in the second half. There are some moments that they had, and we had as well, because we hit the post. We had big chances as well with Gabby, another big chance through Victor, and we didn't. Count on one hand. You have to be credit to the opposition because they played as well, and it's not a coincidence what they've done in that period. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. But yeah, that's it. Arsenal's absentees: Magalhaes has pulled out of Brazil, Saliba out of France, Eze out of England. Saliba's had an ankle injury all season, so I am a bit worried. But as no one with no inside information, I'm kind of cool about centre backs. Eze worries me. Trossard's pulled out of Belgium, Odegaard out of Norway, Timber out of Netherlands. Timber's one concerns me as well, if I'm honest. Arteta needs to be ruthless, drop underperforming players, throw in Max. He must not try to be nice to useless players, nice to millions of fans by getting us over the line. But unfair, Arteta doesn't owe Kepa anything. He needs to be ruthless. I don't think Saka played badly. I do, man. I'll be real. Arteta finally using his brains, withdrawing them from international duties. Arteta for years now has said we need to learn from this, still ain't learned. And that's where we need more players with that dog in them. Rice, Saliba, Big Gabby, Raya. Yesterday was a one-off game, no second leg. Great out fight needed. But I don't blame Kepa. I blame Teta in his decision-making and indecision. Rice should have played. Teta simply isn't brave. We need a great manager. He's squandering the squad. I mean, he's got to prove people wrong. DG, people don't want to hear it, but Arteta is learning too and has us in the title race for 2 years. He improved the squad in the last 6 years. We need that first PL title, then we can all relax. He needs to get... I disagree with relax because we need to keep going, but I get what you're meaning. And again, he is learning. But I'm not interested in what you're learning. I'm interested in you getting over the line. You've done a lot for this club. You've got us back in these conversations. But until you get over the line, there's an element of truth. Are you the man before the man? I think you're a genius tactically. I think you're a very good coach. But are you a winner? You've not proven that so far. Yeah, a winner is someone that gets up every day doing their thing, but you're a winner. That's where the conversation shifted. We came into the season with the gloves off. Now, you failed at the first hurdle. You get the Prem. We'll still remember the hurt, but what minimum it could be a Liverpool thing like last year, innit? Champions League, I don't rate our chances. Prove me wrong. And what I mean by that is I just don't think we're going to win it. But as long as we're in it, let's try to do that. Let's try and go all the way. I just have this funny feeling Liverpool win the FA Cup, but they do have City, recency bias. I can't look beyond City. You've got 4 cracks at the whip, innit? You have to rise up one. I wouldn't say it's unthinkable because I've seen it before, ending up silverware-less. But if you do, well, personally, I think you've signed a new deal already. I think you've hit whatever KPIs internally. So, yeah, man. The comments matter little, in my opinion. These guys just need to focus on winning their games and the title will be won. I think it's time to just get heads down, focus on the next game and win it. DJ is high for football knowledge. At least they balance it out. Appreciate you, my boy. It's Arsenal FC, not Arteta FC. The club is at the expense of his hiring if we don't cross the line. I'll give Arteta this. For a complete novice, he's done well to hold his own at the top. But that's my thing. I don't want you to learn everything and then you get into a scenario at another club. Yo, when I did this at Arsenal with this fan, it didn't work. Let me do that. I don't want to learn. There's no point you learning here for the sake of learning. Genuinely. There ain't nothing more to be said in that regard. So in comparison, people, because we've been here for an hour and 38 minutes, I'm sure you lot have better things to do with your lives. It is what it is. Just suck up the pain for the next 2 weeks. You got to get on with it, innit? You know what you need to do against Southampton, Sporting, and for the life of me, I think Bournemouth in the Premier League. Don't quote me, I don't know, people. But yeah, man, win, lose, draw. We're here, innit? Never hide in front line and corner boys in the building. A's up till we freeze up. Although we did freeze in Northwest London, it is what it is. So yeah, man, appreciate you lot for offering your opinions, for commenting, for engaging, for hitting the like button, the silent viewers. Big up you lot that have probably watched this on the replay. You lot stay safe, stay blessed. There's always going to be content. Probably now, maybe let the temperature die a bit, yeah, and as we shift on. But we'll probably do some reviews and, some scouting stuff. There's always content in it. So, yeah, man, big up you lot. Without you lot, it's dead. Big up my members, my moderators, my supporters. DG Nation, you're far too kind. You always just